Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
We're the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course.
Brad,
Bob.
say goodbye to knee pain.
Goodbye. Goodbye, knee pain.
With these effective tips by Mackenzie. And who is Mackenzie?
Robin Mackenzie.
Robin Mackenzie. By the way, he's kind of our hero. We did a video on who we considered was the #1 influence on therapists in the world.
Right.
And that was Robin Mackenzie because of all the work he's done with back pain, neck pain, shoulder, knee
Right.
pain.
His system is worldwide, and he's got a lot of literature, not only for therapists to read, but he has it written for the layperson, just like this book on knee pain.
Yeah, and this is really an excellent book. I actually didn't read this one. I mean, I knew of a lot of these techniques from one of his textbooks, but it wasn't organized as well as it is in here.
Sure.
And someone just sent us this, by the way, and it's called Treat Your Own Knee by Robin Mackenzie. It's down in the list below, or it'll be in the link below.
And this is written for not just therapists, but for any
No,
for the
anybody.
layperson.
I'm going to have my wife read this. She's been having some knee pain, and it's getting better because we're using some of the techniques from here.
That sounds nice, Bob. You're a therapist. Your knife has knee pain. And you can say, "Here, read the book."
That's exactly what it is.
That's the way it is at a therapist's
When you're a
house.
mechanic, do you want to go home and work on your car? No, you don't. So, but anyway, she's been using some of the techniques very successfully from this book. And so we're going to actually do 2 videos on it. We're going to do one with just the tips today, and then we'll do another one that'll come up within a week that we're going to show some of the exercises that you should do. So, by the way, if you are new to our channel,
Oh, yes.
please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also go over to the Facebook and like us because Brad and I, as children,
The Facebook.
it's really sad. I wish the violins were playing right now. We were not liked, and we're trying to turn things around, and we're doing pretty good at it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling much better, Bob.
All right, let's talk about the first tip, Brad. One thing is if you sit for prolonged periods of time, it's actually, knees don't like inactivity. They like movement. I remember I saw this study when I was working at the Mayo Clinic. It had rabbits in it, and the rabbits had arthritis. Half of the rabbits, they had the knees moving on the rabbits, and the other half they had them still, had them immobilized.
Yeah.
The immobilized ones got worse. The arthritis got worse because they
I
weren't
always
moving.
wondered how they do these studies, but I guess we don't want to get
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think
the whole point has been studied, so the movement with the joints was healthier or beneficial for it.
Right. The other thing about knees is knees don't like to be fully bent, and they don't like to be fully straightened.
Right.
They're better off when you're somewhat in between. But when you're sitting all day long, one thing you want to make sure that you're doing is don't have the knees bent greater than 90 degrees.
Okay.
So that's that right. This is a right angle. I don't want it bent further like this all day. It's putting more stress on the knee.
Right.
You kind of have a story about this, right, Brad?
Right. Actually, because my wife was having knee pain, and like you, I didn't,
What did you do, Brad? You didn't even help her, did you?
Well, we talked about her workstation a little bit, but actually, she came up with a solution. She's sitting on a chair with a ring, steel ring,
Yeah.
around her chair, and she would put her feet up there, so her knees would be bent quite a bit more than 90 degrees. And, she would sit that way because it worked out well because she had
Right.
a pivot in her chair.
Sure.
And then she got a different chair to make her knees more straight at that 90 position. Her knee pain went away.
Yeah. It's weird as you get older, and well, I shouldn't say that. Even some younger people I've treated that you put yourself in these positions for long periods of time, and you're going to start getting pain. It's just it's amazing. So the body does not like it.
Well, I can remember years ago when I used to work in a shop as a mechanic. If I was on a floor working and my knees were end range like this, and this is when I was in my 20s, I would stand up. Even then, I would just
Yeah, you'd be limping.
It'd take about 20 steps before
That's
I got
why-
back to normal.
Yeah, you don't want to be a catcher on a baseball team.
I don't know how those
I don't know
knees
how they
hold
do
up.
it. No. Now, also, what Brad is pointing out, let's say you're on a higher place like this, like a higher seat.
Right.
You want to make sure your feet are flat on the ground.
Right.
So you may need to use a stool.
So if you're looking at the height here, you can see my feet are hanging down. Two things, my knees are a little stretched, but also
You're getting cutoff pressure there.
it's going to reduce the circulation through my femoral artery, and that's not good either.
Right.
So it's not just for the knee, but it is true. So if you get a stool, and actually, Annette at work, she does my typing and stuff. She has a block underneath her workstation so that it's like this and much more
Yep.
comfortable.
And there, right now you're about at 90 or a little bit less than 90, so that's good.
So that height may vary depending on the chair, the individual, the situation.
So this is something you can do regularly, especially if you're having knee pain. Every 30 minutes or so, what you're going to want to do, very simple, straighten one knee as much as you can, count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then go to the other one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back and forth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to do it 5 times each leg.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times 5, basically.
Right. Okay.
So
Good.
that's just it's going to get things moving. It's going to get that.
It'll take you what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, right. And then also along with that, every break you should try to walk a few minutes. And there's more reasons than just the knee pain why that you should do that, but it's really good to get up and walk.
Right.
So let's say you're a stander, Brad. Let's say you have to stand for a living. Maybe you're at a counter or something like that. The tip for prolonged standing is that every 30 minutes you should try to stand. You're going to try to sit and actually bend your knee because now your knee has been straight the whole time.
Okay.
Right? So you're going to sit down and you're going to go ahead and you're going to grab the ankle and you're going to pull it toward you like this. Again, for just the 5 seconds. And then you're going to go and grab the other one.
Do the other leg.
Yeah.
So essentially, any position your body's in, particularly if it's what we call end range or an extreme, you're not going to want to hold it there a long period of time. You're going to want to actually balance it out and go the opposite direction.
Absolutely,
Sure.
Brad. You got it precisely.
Yep.
So very good. We got the other leg. Okay, now let's say the other thing is, and this is the one that really became relevant for my wife, was the sleeping posture. I'm going to need some pillows, Brad. Do you mind grabbing a few?
I got to find them. I'll be back 20 minutes or so.
So we were she's having some pain on the inside of her knee, and she was feeling it more in the mornings when she'd wake up. So I'm really trying to cover here for you, Brad. It takes a half hour to find pillows. All right, so very simply, I mean, this makes sense to a lot of people. When she's laying on her side, she needs to have a pillow between her legs, and that's what she's been doing the last couple of nights.
Sure.
And it's made a difference. I mean, she woke up this morning, she had no pain.
Yep.
She went out for a run, no pain. So, I mean, it really makes a big difference. If you lay on your back, you're going to want to have some pillows underneath the knee so you're not completely straight.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
the other option would be what we call the leg wedge, right?
Yep, that is the leg wedge, Bob.
A lot of people love this thing, especially if you have back pain too. But this is something, Brad, you said sometimes you fall asleep with this?
Oh, yeah. Yep. And if I have a back issue, I've been overdoing it out, doing yard work. Cold pack goes under here. I lay on my leg wedge. It's very comfortable.
But you can see that, the knees are slightly bent that way. And then if in the middle of the night, if you can go ahead and get away from it if you want to,
But
and put
I
the pillow.
just throw it on the floor.
Sure.
And
works
stumble
out
over it when I
good.
wake up in the morning.
We've got one of those down in our Amazon preferred list because a lot of people ask about where to get one.
Sure.
So. All right, the next tip, Brad, is these are those are all the Mackenzie tips. Now, some of these are our tips. This is one that I recommend to people all the time. Don't stand with your knees locked. And there's a lot of reasons for doing that, not wanting to do it, but one of the greatest reasons is because it's bad for your knees.
Yeah.
You're really jamming your knees when you lock your knees.
Yeah, we should have pants off. Yeah, take those pants off, Bob. That's good. So you can see, yep. You're going to extend that knee. When you put the knee all the way back, as far as it'll go, we call that end range. That's where, after some time, it really puts stress on that joint.
Yeah, what was happening to me, Brad, is I was standing like this all the time when I was younger, and I was stretching out the back of my knee to the point where my knee was almost bending the other way.
Hyperextension?
Hyperextending. And so I was getting pain, and the tendon out here was sticking out. And I also tell this story many times. I treated a kid that worked at Subway, and he came in, he was having terrible pain in his knees, and he was a little bit lax in his knees anyway, and he'd stand with his knees and lock them, and he'd stand all night like that. All we had him do is stand with his knees slightly bent, and sometimes a staggered stance works out nice because it's easier to kind of keep the knee bent.
Right.
And his knee pain went away. That's all we did. That's the only change we made.
That's a lot better than taking 3 or 4 ibuprofen, huh?
Right, or getting therapy sessions
Right.
for a couple weeks. So it's just a simple thing to do, but it's very important. Next one, Brad, is on the opposite way. You also don't want to be one of those people that puts your feet up on a stool all the time and let the knee stretch out, because it can get overstretched out that way too.
Particularly if you put the heel here, it really puts a lot of leverage on that knee. I mean, if you put a stool up and you put the force on your calf, it's not so bad.
If you put it underneath your knee itself. I mean, you can put your leg up on a stool, but just don't have it, like you said, in that stretching position.
Right.
So the final tip we have, and this is the one I get a lot of flack on, is,
So do I.
is I tell people, you know, when you get a flare-up of knee pain, especially as you get older, a lot of times if it's arthritis, knee pain tends to flare up and it tends to calm down. And what really helps calm it down is just to use a cane for a while.
Take some pressure off the knee.
And they go, I'm too old to use a cane.
Or too young.
Or too, I'm too young to use a cane. I got that opposite. But what I said, so you're too young to use a cane, but you're you know, this is okay.
Yeah.
You know, they're walking like this. And I mean, obviously they're going to look a lot better with a cane and walking just normal, as opposed to, believe me, you're looking old if you're limping.
Right.
So,
and not only that, it's going to tear up your knee sooner.
Yep.
You know, your knee's going to last a lot longer when you take that stress off.
It's going to start showing up in other areas too.
And people were probably wondering why I was hanging onto this white stick
Yeah.
at the beginning, but that was it. You know, now they make some real nice walking sticks.
Walking sticks,
This doesn't happen to be one of the nice, pretty ones, but it works well. But you know, get a walking stick. That can also help. And if your knee's hurting, you're elderly, you may be at more of a risk for falls. And you obviously want to prevent that, and that's where a walking stick or a cane is.
Yeah, and I was telling Brad, there's a lady in our neighborhood that uses a walking stick, you know, and it looks fine. Because she's kind of just walking with her walking stick. And again, it looks better than her going like this.
Right.
And it looks better than a cane.
And it's going to help her body out.
The one thing I was going to point out with the Hurricane, which was real popular for a while, is, you know, one thing you want to be aware of. Are you down here, Lonnie, at all? If you walk along, and because this is collapsible, if you step on here and go like this, you can actually collapse on you.
Yeah.
See how that worked? I stepped on it. You know, so
just so you know, if you're not familiar with these canes, they're made to go like this, so you can, you know, put it in a bag or purse or in your car easier. But that is one of the disadvantages,
downfalls,
is that it can be a problem with that if you step on it.
All right, so again, we're going to have another video which we show the exercises that can help take away the pain. And this is also the exercises by Mackenzie.
Sure.
Thanks a lot for watching.
Thank you.